When I was in Japan this past fall for the Japan Mobility Show, one of my favorite vehicles there was a minivan. Go figure. Japan is the land of minivans. But there was a Mitsubishi concept called the DELICA DX concept. And I did one YouTube short on it, and that was it, because I'm like, I don't want to get too excited for this vehicle. And then in May, Automotive News broke that Mitsubishi is going to double down here in North America, bring the DX vehicle, well, the production version of it, to our market. And now we have more information coming out of Best Car Magazine, the most reliable source for upcoming Japanese cars. They have a timetable when to expect this minivan. We'll also talk a little bit about other products that we will be getting from Mitsubishi in the near future. Guys, grab your snacks and drinks, buckle in, and the Sienna and the Odyssey should be put on notice right now. This new DELICA, at least according to one source, one of the dealers from Mitsubishi here in North America, said the DELICA is not coming until the end of the decade. So I tempered my expectations. I was like, hey, probably 2029, something like that. But the information from Best Car here is saying that it's coming by the end of 2026. Will that mean that it's coming to the United States market in 2026? Unlikely, but if it comes out end of 2026 in Japan, we're typically a month, 2-3 months behind of the Japan launch. So I'm really hopeful that this vehicle will be coming in 2027 to spice up the minivan market here in the United States. They said in 2005, here was the D5 concept. And then in 2007, they stuck to it as best as possible for a production model. The problem is that if I feel like they did a good job for the most part carrying this to production, but the front end looks way worse than the concept. If you go, I don't know, A-pillar, the start of the A-pillar on back, the rest of the minivan looks very, very similar. But if you go A-pillar forward, it just looks really ugly compared to what the concept was. Now, here was the DX concept that we saw at the Japan Mobility Show. There were no side mirrors. So they added things like side mirrors, more realistic daytime running lights instead of these vertical and horizontal lights. And what they did down here is very similar to what we see on the current Outlander. The Outlander has daytime running lights that are separated from the nighttime lights, which are kind of built into the front bumper / fender area. So this D6, which I don't expect it to be called a D6 here in the United States, it would make no sense. I'll just call it the DELICA. Like the Sienna is the Sienna, the Odyssey is the Odyssey, the Carnival is the Carnival, etc. So it won't be called D6 here stateside. I'm almost positive it'll just be called the DELICA. And the DELICA has a cult following around it. People import them. They're 4-wheel drive standard. They're absolute monsters off-road with great approach angles, and you can camp in them due to the boxiness that is built into a van. All right, so let's read into what they have to say about this game-changing, I will call it game-changing minivan here. I can't even get out of the first, paragraph here without mentioning the Pajero. The Pajero is the same thing as the Montero. The Montero is a direct competitor to the Toyota Land Cruiser. They're saying it will be revived. If Mitsubishi revives the Pajero / Montero and it doesn't come to the United States, that would be one of the biggest marketing blunders in the history of the company, in my opinion. The Montero has to come back to the United States, and the Montero Sport. The Montero Sport still lives on, is sold in places like Australia. But the full-size Land Cruiser, Pajero, Montero absolutely has to come to the United States because that market is just bonkers right now. And they might be able to do it better than Toyota. Who knows? Who knows, right? Toyota's in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons right now for the twin turbo V6 situation going on. But if they can come in with their own reliable engine and old school setup on a Montero / Pajero, I think it would really, really be good for the company here in the United States, which is kind of, I don't even know what Mitsubishi is doing in the United States, but it will get better with the Pajero Montero as well as this DELICA entering in. And this is something nobody's doing. I mean, Toyota kind of has, it's a joke. They have the Woodland Sienna. They're talking about how this is going to be, or at least have, fully blown off-roading variants. Like I said, people kit these DELICAs out, clad them in armor, and take them off-roading and adventuring. And Mitsubishi would have such a cool vehicle here to bring the United States market with skid plates underneath, with cool top racks, with luggage that you can stack on this vehicle, etc. Off-roading wheels and tires. It looks like they're going to go that route for the models that they offer here. If they don't, huge opportunity missed. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't have like a rally arch version. That's all it needs to be. Rally arch DELICA, give us skid plates, give us 18-inch wheels and fat tires, equipped with plug-in hybrid that is closer to battery electric. We know the Outlander has a plug-in hybrid, but it doesn't have the world's greatest range. We'll compare the powertrain here in a little bit compared to its rivals, but they're saying that it has tons of space and all the seats can swivel around 180 degrees or even more to face the passengers behind them. I feel like that'd be awesome if you're at a campsite. You can flip your driver's seat around, your front passenger seat around, invite some people to come in the van with you to play some cards. Nothing crazy. You guys don't get your minds out of the gutter. But I'm not saying the DELICA could be the new shaggin' wagon of the 21st century, but yeah, with rotating seats, you could use your imagination there. And the concept, I'm going to flip this image around. They're saying in the concept, there is this screen here that kind of mirrors what you would be looking at as if this was fully glass. You could superimpose crazy things on here like navigation, tilt and rotation, as well as, yaw, roll, all that stuff going on. The problem is that I feel like a screen this big also competing for your eyes real estate would only cause nausea with the people who are driving. And could you imagine how bright this would be at night? Of course, you could turn it off, but I just don't see that conceptualized screen making its way into the vehicle whatsoever. And you would need to have airbags too. That's why you have big dashes. So we're going to have an airbag across here. All right, a little bit more into the powertrain. Again, plug-in hybrid. In other markets, they have diesel powertrains for the DELICA. Since we're here in North America, there's not a snowball's chance that a diesel comes here. I would say there's a super good chance here in the United States that it is standard plug-in hybrid. There's not going to be a non-plug-in hybrid, and there's not going to be a fully battery electric, and there's not going to be a diesel. So really, I think the only powertrain we'll get here in the United States for this new DELICA is a plug-in hybrid. And reading into this footnote here, this is a next generation plug-in hybrid, so it will not be a copy and paste from the Outlander plug-in hybrid. So we'll have significant increases in all elements, including the battery, motor, e-axle, which is the electric motor in the back that powers the rear wheels, giving it the super all-wheel drive control. That's their proprietary all-wheel drive system. And we would see this in theory in the next Outlander plug-in hybrid as well, but feel like it would come first here on this DELICA. Now, speaking of the Outlander plug-in hybrid, they're saying a new generation is around the corner. But I feel like, 2021? The Outlander plug-in hybrid came out. So I guess by 2027, 2028, we could have a new Outlander with an all-new plug-in hybrid system with more range, more power. They're saying this will greatly extend the range that plug-in hybrids can travel compared to where the current model is now. We're going to see a direct injected inline 4 again, a 2.4 liter, which is what they currently have on the Outlander and Outlander plug-in hybrid. Now, they mentioned that diesel is likely to come for the Japanese market and other markets, and it could use biofuel. But again, that is not going to be a part of the lineup here in the United States. All right. So here are the dimensions, and I'm just going to get straight into the spreadsheet here because I want to compare it to the competition. So we have the Outlander plug-in hybrid as a starting point for the DELICA D6, which is going to be a plug-in hybrid standard stateside, almost positive. All right, which it's going to have an expensive starting price, I think, because it has a big battery pack in there and like more powerful electric motors. But one of the things that jumped out to me is that they're expecting 320 PS, which is 316 horsepower. That is roughly where the RAV4 Prime's powertrain is. And that's the powertrain that should be an optional powertrain in the plug-in hybrid Sienna. But there is no plug-in hybrid Sienna. Toyota, for whatever reason, has this amazing powertrain, and they only slot it into RAV4, NX, RX, and that's it. I think that's it here in the United States. Across the seas, they have that plug-in hybrid in various versions of the Crown. They have it in the Crown Signia overseas, that plug-in hybrid. They also have it in the Venza, which was just discontinued here for the Signia. But they have a plug-in hybrid Harrier, which is the same thing as the Venza that was discontinued here. Toyota still sticking with the tried and true basic hybrid. It's super efficient. Guys, I think I was getting like 47 miles per gallon when the weather was mild here. I didn't have to crank the AC. It's flat Florida and I was driving in town. I was getting 46 miles per gallon. Taking it across the state to Miami and back, I got 37 miles per gallon on the flat plane, right? So the efficiency of Toyota Sienna hybrid is really, really impressive. It's just hard to get your hands on one of them. Let's get into what I'm expecting here for the new Delica, the D6. Keeping the same 2.4 liter, really weak engine, but it's really there as a range extender. It's not like Honda's hybrids, which is not available in the Odyssey, by the way, but like Honda's hybrids, the engine only acts as a generator until you're at highway speeds, and then it can use a clutch to drive the wheels directly. But it's mainly a series hybrid 99% of the time in town anyways. So you're going to have crazy amounts of initial surge and thrust from the electrification with new e-axle in the back and a new electric motor in the front too. But we'll have a much improved, lighter, and more powerful rear e-axle on this D6, which will give it, and at least when you're driving an electric, it might have kind of a rear-wheel drive performance factor to it, which would be kind of cool. All right, but I'm expecting the battery to get around 25 kilowatt hours, up from the current 20 kilowatt hours on the Outlander. We could see 50 miles of electric range, and then 500 miles combined once the engine has to take over, or at least chip in to provide electricity as a generator. It looks like it won't be as long as the Sienna, the Odyssey, the Pacifica, the Carnival, at least with the preliminary wheelbase numbers that Best Car is coming out with. But it will be way better for off-roading and have a more upright nature to it, I would say. And it will be all-wheel drive standard. You will not have a front-wheel drive option here. So it will have class-leading horsepower. It will have standard all-wheel drive. It might fall a little bit short when it comes to cargo capacity compared to its competitors. But if Mitsubishi can keep the price around $45,000, I would pick it over all of the competition. Was not impressed with the Pacifica plug-in hybrid. The Carnival here, it has a turbo in it, which for longevity, I'm always a little cautious about that. I wouldn't hesitate to lease a Carnival hybrid, but in terms of owning it long term, I just don't know. Even though they have a really good warranty, I still don't know. This engine just came out, or should I see this hybrid powertrain just came out on this Carnival. Honda Odyssey, it's crickets with a new generation. It's crickets with a hybrid. I don't know what's happening with Honda's best-selling minivan here, but people really like the V6 on it. So anyways, the Delica minivan, if it comes out as a plug-in hybrid, comes to the United States in 2027. It's honestly the minivan I've been waiting for. I love my current Sienna, my old V6 Sienna. It's not built very well, believe it or not. My 2004 Sienna that I had before, it felt a lot better built. And this vehicle will be built in Japan. So the build quality is going to be very, very impressive. They're going to import these Delicas from Japan into the United States, just like they do with the Outlander. So, man, I cannot wait for this new minivan to really shake things up here in the United States minivan market. It's going to have amazing styling, all-wheel drive standard, great power, insane efficiency, great electric range. This is a minivan I've been waiting for, and nobody's been building it. The closest thing is a Pacifica plug-in hybrid. It's front-wheel drive only. The range is pretty bad, and it just didn't feel very refined, even though this powertrain had been out a long time when I tested it. So it just didn't, and it's very expensive too for what it is. You guys know I could talk about minivans all day long. Let me know down below which of these minivans, right? The Outlander was just kind of starting point for where the Delica plug-in hybrid is going to be. But let me know which of these minivans you would be most interested in. You can still get a V6 on the Carnival. You can still get a non-plug-in hybrid V6 as well in the Pacifica. So let me know down below. Minivans for life. Will I still have a minivan after the kids are out of the house and 20 years from now? Who knows? I really, really, really like minivans, and the upright nature of the Delica. You can ride a motorcycle right into the back of it. Things like that. It's going to be awesome. Cannot wait for the Delica to come to the United States legally instead of having to like cross your fingers and hoping you can get it registered as a Japanese right-hand drive import. So anyways, I'll catch you guys down below. Make sure you subscribe for more minivan updates. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.